Hey everyone, this is Mike. Today I'm going to be revisiting Hades, the roguelike game from Supergiant Games. Now, Hades is a game that came out quite a while ago, like I think it's about a year at this point almost, in the Epic Game Store. Of course, the Epic Game Store has all of its negatives that a lot of people are thinking about it. I'm somebody that plays a few games on the Epic Game Store, Fortnite not included, luckily enough. But I still see that a lot of people don't really like Epic Game Store, which I can totally agree with. It is not that great of a platform to play games on, but now that Hades has come to Steam, I don't really see the point as to why people are not playing this game yet, because it's freaking amazing. So Hades is finally on Steam. Not only that, but for the winter sale they're also adding in a copy of Pyre, which is their previous game that they released, which is a little bit of a visual novel style game, I guess you could say, together with a little bit of a sports game for when it comes to like the actual combat that you're doing. Which Pyre is a great game, by the way. So if you do want, I feel like if you're interested in Hades or if you're interested in Pyre, just buy Hades so that you get this amazing roguelike game, and then you also get Pyre, which is an amazing story, great music, and very unique gameplay as well. So if you don't know what Hades is, it is the roguelike, but it is a bit different. So a lot of roguelikes don't necessarily have a lot of story involved with them. Most of them have a general storyline that you go through, but from run to run, things stay relatively the same. Like for example, Wizard of Legend is the roguelike that I play the most. It's the one that I've put in the most amount of time, I think, in general as well. But the story is there for you to enjoy. Like you go to the museum, you get knocked out, you then wake up in the Chaos Trials, you beat the Chaos Trials, then you get sent back in time back to the museum. Everything was a dream, and then you finish like your run through the museum and you see a few things like, oh, I did that, or those are the bosses and that kind of stuff. But that's where the story ends. There isn't much story to the game itself, and Supergiant has always been known to have a pretty cool story in there, like with Transistor, it was all narrated by your sword. Then Pyre, of course, had all these different characters that you're interacting with to give you that rich story. And then I thought to myself, how are they gonna put a story into a roguelike game where you're always dying all over and over again, getting sent back to that same place? Well, that's where Hades and the fact that you're Hades' son trying to escape the underworld comes into play really well, because every time you die, you basically wake up in the underworld again, trying to escape the next time around. So it's always really cool to see that, and you also get progression through your story as well, because every time you wake up again, or that you respawn in this pool of blood, I guess you could say, the people that you interacted with in the underworld itself, or the ones that are following your progress, like, I'm not gonna spoil all the characters, but basically a lot of the characters that are in the room or like in the hub town, they follow your progression through your escape of hell. So every time that you come back from the death, basically, they will ask you certain things, or they'll give you advice. For example, like if you died to a certain monster, they might be like, oh, that monster gives you poison, make sure you go drink this fountain of unpoisonness, I guess you could say. So it's always really cool to see those kind of things. I was really like surprised by how well they were able to incorporate a progressive story into a roguelike game, something that I never really expected. And the thing that I'm looking forward to the most is actually finally finishing the game, beating a run to then see what happens. Because say for example you start a new account and then you already have like all of your experience from before. Say you've already played 100 hours of the game, you've beat it plenty of times, and then you start a new account, a new save file, and you load in, you get your things that every new player sees, but then you beat the run in one go. I'm kind of interested to see if you get to enjoy the rest of the story as well, or if you really missed out on a bunch of stuff because you didn't die like 100 times trying to get towards the end. Because usually every few times that you died, now of course when you die a shitload of times, you might not always see new dialogue, but every time you made further progression through the dungeon, through your escape of hell, there would be new characters showing up, there would be more story available to you in the hub town, would be new things unlocking in the hub town as well. Maybe the new things unlocking in the hub town could also totally be because it was early access and it's been added through updates, possible as well, because I do have quite a few new things unlocked now. So those are some kind of things that I think are really cool in this game and that I kind of want to see as well. So it kind of incentivizes you to try and make a new save file to see whether or not things really changed or not, or of course to see how the story would be different if, for example, you beat you escape from hell in 1 or 2 tries instead of in like the 30 or something that I've tried right now. So it's really cool to see that. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this game becomes in the future as well, because they can still add a bunch of stuff to it, whether it be more gods, more weapons, because there is going to be a 6th weapon that is going to be added as well before the game releases, new boons, new abilities, all of that kind of stuff. There's actually a lot of stuff that they can still do with the game, and even if they don't, what is already there is really good, and I really enjoy playing the game. So all I have to say is that Hades, it's on Steam now, it is getting really close to launch, probably sometime early next year, and if not, if you just can't wait like me and you want to play it right now, what is there is already a pretty complete experience of a roguelike game in my opinion. So Hades is really good, it's on Steam, I'll leave a link down in the description as well if you want to go buy it. It also gives you Pyre, so if you don't have that game yet, you can already go and enjoy that as well, since Pyre is also a pretty cool experience. A lot of reading though, so if you're not really into reading stuff, then Pyre maybe not a good idea, because it's not really a voice-acted game like Hades is, which, by the way, literally everything is voice-acted in this game, which I think is amazing, because I do like my story games, but I don't like to constantly have to read stuff, which is why Pyre was still a really good game, but it was kind of annoying having to read everything all the time, because I do like to read books, but then when it comes to gaming, because there is already like voice lines here and there, I like everything to be voice acted, but of course that is a little bit of an ideal world, but then of course Hades does give me that, so that is really cool. So that's it pretty much for me. I'm gonna probably keep going off track if I keep talking about this stuff. It's a really cool game, link is in the description if you want to go check it out. Pyre's also a really good game, so if you buy it on Steam now, you get both for the price of one basically, and I don't really see why you would pass up on such a great deal. So that's it for me, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you will play some Hades as well, because I think it's amazing, and I'll see you in the next one.